And I think from today, when we go through the session, you'll learn some great insights in terms of how we can support you and your business in that challenging space. I think fundamentally it's about people as well. I think digital transformation, it clearly has a strong IT component, but I think it really affects everybody, and everybody affects it. So really, I just wanted to take a second to be able to give you an understanding from an Axonex perspective what it means to us. So here at Axonex, we take digital transformation very seriously. We're adopting the business mandates that I've touched on in terms of reinventing some of our processes and operating models. It's important to our transformation, the ability to work with the Cisco Systems UK Digital Alliance, which is chaired by John Johnson, our commercial CTO at Cisco and a good friend and supporter of our business. With John's help, we've been able to develop a digital business transformation practice, focusing on advising our customers on what is best for your business. And I really emphasize the your business because every business is unique. And we truly recognize that, within your business, we need to understand what is driving your strategy and goals. But there are some common things that we consider, which again, John will touch on as he goes through the session today. But things like customer experience become absolutely paramount. That ability to have an agile organization, and of course, that ability to integrate digital technologies. So if all this makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, if you feel like you're behind the race to digitize your business, don't panic. I think there's a huge misconception in businesses today that your competitors are way ahead, and actually I think in reality that's probably not the case. Again, I'm sure as John takes you through the real understanding and the real impact that digital business transformation can have for you, you'll understand just where you are in that transformation. So without further ado, I want to say a big thank you to John for his support to Axonex, and obviously with us today, being able to engage with us as a customer in the community. So I will pass you across to John and let him take you through what digital transformation means, how you can take full advantage, and I think learn from John's first-hand experience that he can share to help with your success. So John, over to you.
Thanks, Jeff. That was a very pragmatic introduction, and I love the clear definition as to what digital transformation actually means to you and our customers. And again, thanks for arranging this session, and thank you to everyone who's joined this webinar today. I can see it's also being recorded, and I believe the Axonex team will be making this recording available to you, because I can get quite passionate, I can talk at speed, so I'll try and make sure that the key points, we actually take the time to present those clearly as well. So my name's John Johnson, but please do call me JJ. I've been in Cisco for 12 years, going on 13, and prior to that I was in HSBC, so I've been around IT for about 20 years. My current role is now CTO for the UK commercial business, so I cover 24,000 customers across the UK arena, but really I'm focusing on the key strategic customers that are truly trying to transform their businesses, leveraging digital technologies to achieve a competitive advantage, to essentially create new business models, have exceptional customer services, and improve business performance. That is the definition of digital transformation in the words of our own customers. That is what they say to us. Now, I'm going to be taking you on a bit of a whistle-stop tour of digital transformation. We talk about it in the context of a vortex as well. So if you brace yourself in, we're going to take you on this digital vortex, and then we're going to show you how to essentially successfully deliver transformation. And that's, again, using another analogy around actually composing beautiful music, just like a conductor in an orchestra. We'll be showing you how you can conduct successful transformation across your business. And I think actually aligning it to simple analogies like that actually helps crystallize what is a very complex beast, which is what this transformation is. So let me just present the screen to you now. I have a presentation to share with you. So bear with me. Can you see the screen nice and clearly? And I know Richard and Jeff, you'll be able to see that. Is that showing, chaps?
It is. All good.
Yeah, all good. Excellent. All right, let's get going. So What I'd like to do really is just set some context first of all. Cisco, we've been around for 33 years. If I was to ask a customer, as I did this morning with a COO of a major building society, the first response you get is, well, we're Cisco. Well, you're a routing and switching network company. And that's where we've come from. That's our heritage. But we've had to transform. We've been disrupted ourselves. If you think about the context of digital disruption as a huge hurricane or a tornado, essentially as you're getting brought into the center of that vortex, businesses are starting to become more chaotic, smash into each other. Some businesses will obliterate, other businesses will amalgamate, and other parts of a business will splinter off and form new digital alliances or digital innovations. Think about disruption in that context. The closer you are to the center, the more disrupted and chaotic it is. Telecoms is right at the heart of that disruption. It started off with the music industry. Think about Napster, what it did to music in 1990. What we're doing now is we're hitting telecoms, retail, legal, all those industries are starting to get sucked into the center of this vortex. Now, the challenge we also see is that customers see this as a one-time affair, a bit like hunkering down and weathering a hurricane and down the vortex is going to go over us soon and we're back to normal. No, it's all about perpetual disruption. Every business today is looking at reinvention of their business models every 1 to 3 years because they have to. There are lots of digital disruptors out there. You have to continually reinvent the value you bring to your customers and constantly hold up a mirror to yourself and understand, well, what value I'm actually bringing to my customers as well. It sounds terrifying, and disruption is, but through the work we're going to be sharing with you, there are so many opportunities. It's about looking to seek areas where you can actually extract value. You know, if you think of Jeff Bezos, his mantra is, your margin is my opportunity. He doesn't want to own the full value chain of the business. He just goes after the valuable bits. A bit like little yappy dogs biting at your ankles. They just want to go after the valuable bits of the business. So before we jump into this, I wanted to just give you a summary, because if I cover 24,000 customers, there's a lot of commonality there. So every meeting I have, these are the 6 themes that keep emerging. First and foremost, Jeff talks about digital transformation. It is 2 words that instill fear in the minds of CXOs. They instill fear because it is difficult. Transformation is essentially change. Change is not an easy thing to do. But the challenge we see with customers is, whilst the recognition now is there in the marketplace, people understand the need to change, they understand the impact of digital, they understand the impact of disruption and the competitive threat. What they're struggling with is how to transform. And the latest research is showing there's only 5% are actually meeting the expectations of transformation. That is a tiny little portion of businesses that are saying, yes, we're delivering some value out of this thing called digital disruption, or enabling value or extracting value out of these new digital technologies. There is a massive amount that we can do to help with that. Think about digital, 2 words, digital transformation. Everyone should own digital. Everyone across the business, digital is their right and need. They need to understand it and need to manage it. Transformation, on the other hand, is the difficult bit. That's the piece that needs to be more targeted and driven at the exec level, almost like having a chief transformation officer down into the business, whereas everybody's responsibility is digital. So look at it in 2 contexts, because the 2 get in the main, they get conflated together. So treat them as 2 separate things. The key thing we see is the need for engaging with customers in new innovative ways. And this is using digital technologies to create new immersive experiences, to essentially create a more immersive experience to attract more customers to procure and consume your services. Customer service, 9 out of 10 businesses today are competing purely on CX alone. The ability to optimize and become operationally efficient and also drive new forms of innovation. So businesses today are moving away from a world of reactive to predictive, but the vision, the North Star that businesses want to aim towards is being preemptive. They want to have an infrastructure that can self-optimize, self-protect, and self-manage, and have the ability for users to just self-manage the provision of their own services and resources as and when they need them. That is the vision, and Axonex and Cisco are taking our customers along that journey. Risk and compliance, security without a doubt is a top concern. But also what we hear is around is the bridging the talent gap and also culture. We have a mix of different cultures within our workplace today, whether it be Generation X, Y, Z. They all have different expectations and needs. It's making sure we have the right culture, the right principles, the right attitudes within that business that drives it forward. And one key area that I see there that often gets overlooked, think of a digital business. It is not just about using great technologies to engage with your customers in new innovative ways. It's about understanding how you can make your employees more productive. Think Richard Branson, right? Happy employee, happy customer. Make sure you've got a great immersive technology experience where you can enable team working, you can enable that connected approach to change, everyone's working in a productive way. That transforms into great customer service as well. So those are the 6 key themes. Now, I did say at the start of the webinar, Cisco is at the heart of disruption. We are being hugely disrupted. And 5 years ago, we quickly recognized that need, and we've transformed as a business. Now, I wanted to just touch on, first and foremost, around the challenges we see in terms of Cisco as a business and how we've evolved and changed. This is a key concern, which is essentially, I'm not seeing so much of a challenge anymore now. When I was working in IT 10 years ago, this is at the dawn of the cloud era. It was all these lines of business, shadow IT. IT's taking too long to deliver what I need. I'll go off to the cloud providers and I'll spin up functionality and deliver business services from the cloud. Yes, cloud is still growing exponentially. However, there's now a need where lines of business need to work with IT because of cost control, because of governance and security reasons. You need to bridge the gap with IT. One of the key failings we see with digital disruption is the fact that the business has gone off and done all these initiatives around digital, cloud, engaging with customers in new innovative ways, but they've not brought IT along with them or worked together with IT. So the infrastructure has not had the requisite investment. And what we see is CIOs are literally getting sacked now because the infrastructure is falling over and it's not delivering clearly what the customers and the business needs moving forward. So we're seeing this resurgence of the need to look at what your infrastructure is like, identify what you've got, and then simplify it to build a foundational platform to enable you to build out the digital business on top. That is a very much a very apparent thing I'm seeing across many, many customers today. So we talk about digital platforms, and this is who Cisco are today with Axonex. Our strategy now is to be the secure, intelligent platform for digital business. Just like this building that I'm in now, it needs strong foundations before you build layers on top or before you build additional floors. Just like a digital business, you need these underpinning capabilities. So first and foremost, you need to reinvent your approach to networking. Now, Cisco is, of course, I would say that, being our pedigree around, our heritage around networking. But the key challenge we see customers faced with is simplifying and scaling network operations. For every dollar that's spent on a switch is costing our customers $15 just to maintain those networks. Because of hyperconnectivity, because of things like IoT, because of threats around security, the operational overhead of running an infrastructure now is increasing exponentially, and that is essentially causing a massive OpEx headache for customers. So we reinvented the network. We launched something called Network Intuitive, which allows you to have almost like a driverless car experience for a network. It's self-managing, self-protecting, self-optimizing. And this isn't just, cloud sky thinking, fluffy concepts. We have products and technologies that deliver this today. We have hundreds of customers, even in the UK, deploying this autonomous, self-protecting, driverless network concept, which is the Network Intuitive. Huge savings on OpEx. Cloud, we enable the multi-cloud journey. We know that cloud is obviously increasing public cloud adoption. Now we can help customers on their journey towards the cloud, whether that be out towards the public cloud or repatriating workloads back on premise again, because it may not suit their business model today, so they need to take a decision to repatriate that workload back on prem again. We see both use cases, to be honest. Now Cisco addresses with Axonex around connectivity to the cloud, so things like SD-WAN. Security of those clouds. So how do we actually expand your security protection around your enterprise or commercial business out into those cloud environments as well? How do we give you visibility of your data in those cloud environments? How do we help you manage those different cloud environments as well. When we start looking at running applications across different cloud providers, how do you manage all of those together and give you that visibility? Again, we have solutions that address that need. So we've very much listened to our customers. We've really had a good listen to see what, in this world of digital, what are the key capabilities that you truly need? So you need to unlock the power of data, understand how you make better decisions faster. A digital business needs to get insights from data, visualize it, and then make informed decisions for the business. We talked about customer experience as being one of the key concerns that customers are faced with today. Absolutely. It's not just about the customer experience and delivering an immersive experience, maybe through contact center or video technologies or through new digital channels. It's about the employee experience as well. You know, how can we actually empower employees to be more productive, democratize decision making, so it's not the board that's driving the business anymore, it's everybody in the business collectively working together to say, right, this is the right thing for the business and this is how we move forward. Collaboration, team working, getting everyone fired up and working together. Security, we need to essentially reduce business risk. That is, of course, top of mind. You know, it's, without a doubt, it's one of the key pillars. Those are common outcomes, those 5 things there that every business is faced with today. Now, if I take a different view, so if I take the perspective of a domain view, we have campus domains, we have a wide area network, we have data centers, and we have cloud. We also have, in this new digital world, the cloud edge. Now, when the cloud first grew 10 years ago, businesses essentially connected in a very tactical way, whether that be a VPN or from their data centers into those cloud environments. As cloud adoption has increased, there is no longer a need for businesses to send all their traffic to a data center to go up a single pipe to AWS or Azure or Google. There's a recognition now that we need to optimize that path to those applications in the cloud. We need to do what we call direct internet or direct cloud access from the branch or from the edge office. And this is what SD-WAN is starting to enable for our customers. It's giving the flexibility to be more agile and adapt and change as and when those needs evolve and change in the business as well. Essentially, cloud is going to grow over time, and so you need an infrastructure that's agile enough to cope and expand to those new requirements. So that's the cloud edge. That is very much top of mind with CIOs who are me today. They all want to know how they do DIA or DCA securely. Now, if we look at all those other domains, we've been selling, positioning solutions and value to our customers through things like a software-defined fabric for data center. That's what application-centric infrastructure is. Then we look at campus networks. It's network intuitive of software-defined access. We don't want to look at things as wireless, wired, WAN, NFV. We don't want to look at infrastructure as silos anymore. We want to deliver a fabric, which, if it's a fabric, we can provision through software, the security, the availability, all the policy that's associated with users or devices. We can do all that within the fabric. We can micro-segment that infrastructure as well. It gives the business the agility to make changes as and when they need at speed. That is why we're moving to fabrics. So we've got the campus fabric, which is software-defined access. We've got software-defined WAN through the Viptela acquisition, and we also have a Meraki capability. And then the data center, we've now got ACI also in the public cloud as well. So the next step for Cisco is, whilst we're delivering value to our customers with these software-defined fabrics, what we can do now is we're tying it all together. Because the vision really is, we want you to have a central point, an orchestrator that you provision business intent through, and it'll go off and provision your infrastructure end-to-end across campus, WAN, data center, cloud, cloud edge, everything end-to-end. That is the vision of Cisco, and that is what we're delivering today. This year, we now have the ability to do this for our customers. So this is a very powerful architecture for our customers. And it's not just an all-consume, let's go and rip and replace everything you've got in your infrastructure today. It's an evolution. It's what I call the adoption of the multi-domain architecture. You're going to start off with a foundation, identifying, simplifying what you've got, moving into a phase around how can we be prepared, more prepared for cloud, how can we productionize the connectivity or the security we have with our cloud applications. Centralized control is, think about the orchestrators. If I want to have an agile infrastructure, I want to go to one place, a controller that can provision all my IT assets consistently, consistent policy end-to-end.
I need to think about that centralized controller and that point where I'm extracting data and insights from the infrastructure as well. That one place to go. That's what that third phase is about. Then you're enabling essentially the fourth phase. I've now got the ability to provision end-to-end infrastructure as and when I need to. I may decide to do a new M&A, buy a new business. I can integrate it because I now have an infrastructure that's agile, that can adapt, and I can actually do that at speed and compete in the marketplace aggressively as well. And the final phase is switching all this on end-to-end. So I now have a preemptive enterprise. It's self-learning, protecting, adapting, everything. I'm delivering IT's capabilities to my users and consumers through self-managed portals as well. That is the vision we're taking our customers on, and I call it this journey towards multi-domain architecture. Fundamentally, this is the platform for digital business. So that is the value that Cisco and Axonex can bring to our customers. Now I want to share with you what we've been doing with IMD since 2015. So a lot of customers say, well, what does Cisco know about digital transformation? You're just an IT vendor, right? No. We partnered with IMD in 2015, who are the Institute of Management Development. They are a Center of Excellence for Digital Transformation. We are great with our technology platforms. They are fantastic with their insights to help businesses transform. So the two together created the Global Center for Digital Business Transformation. And as part of that research, this is what I'm going to be sharing with you now, the insights and the knowledge to help our customers to actually transform. Because this year alone, 2.1 trillion is going to get spent on digital, and only 5% are successful. Oh dear. This first book was published in 2016. It's called The Vortex. I'm going to take you through a very high-level view of that content in the next few moments, so brace yourself. And the next book, which was published 2 weeks ago, is Orchestrating Transformation. I am not paid on these books, so please don't think I'm on commission. This is purely because I want our customers to understand the benefits of the knowledge through this research. This is, for me, the golden ticket. It's not all about technology, as Jeff said. It's also about data, it's about infrastructure, and it's about people. It's about how we orchestrate and conduct changes at scale across an entire enterprise, not doing things in silos or small little shadow IT projects. It's making impact and effecting change at scale. So please do look out for this book. It's called Orchestrating Transformation. I'm also taking this content on tour across the UK and various public events as well. So the need and the how, that's the research that's already been done. So if we take a look at Digital Vortex, this was actually announced when John Chambers was still chairman of Cisco. 3 years to disruption is the time it takes for businesses to just no longer exist. If you don't transform, disruption could literally mean that you do not exist as a business within a 3-year period. You're either not going to exist or you're not going to exist as you are today because you're going to have to change. Only 31% of companies are actually actively responding to that transformation. This was feedback based on what customers perceive themselves. Okay, so that may still be optimistic considering only 5% are actually delivering value from it. So, shocking statistics. Now, if we look at the vortex, I described at the head end of the webinar, think about a tornado, chaotic. And if I plot industries along that tornado, you can see music and media in the center, then telecoms and the IT services, then retail, then financial services. This disruption is impacting all industries, and they're all getting sucked into the center of this vortex. Now, why is this happening? It's about the value, not the value chain. Think about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. You look at what he's doing now. He's built a platform, started off as an online retail book company. Now look which industries he's dominating. That's because he's just going after the valuable bits of the business. Take HSBC's website here. I've not chosen them because I used to work for them. This is literally the work that the DBT Centre did. HSBC as a business has got lots of value, lots of elements of the business that they deliver to their customers. The disruptors, the little startups or the digital disruptors, they're just going after the valuable bits of that business. As you can see there, the top ones like Wealthfront, they're just going after the investments. You'll have others that just go after mortgages. You'll have others that just go after savings. That's what happens with digital disruption. You're just getting nipped away until you're just left with technical debt and a business that's just not delivering any value. That's why businesses are going out of business, because they're not delivering the value to their customers anymore. So a little bit of fun. I know we haven't got the lines open. So which of these contains the most lines of code? Now, I am an aviation nerd, and I know the 787 has got 7 million lines of code. An often thing that gets spoken about is Facebook or the Android phone. But the answer is the Ford F-150, allegedly because it's got 150 million lines of code. Now, I gave that example because it's a great way of articulating the fact that things you did not think were being digitized are being digitized at a faster pace than you could ever imagine. Now, there are lots of vehicles like Tesla and other manufacturers building out cars with the software and the hardware embedded within them to enable autonomous vehicles. And you think about the impact that that's going to have to other industries. Autonomous vehicles is going to have a ripple effect into so many other industries. And you can think about it as a thought exercise yourself, but just describe it as this. It's a massive rock. You're going to throw it into a lake, and you look at those ripples that spread out afterwards. All those ripples are going to impact so many different industries. And it's not far away. We talked about 3 years time to disruption. Within 5 years, autonomous vehicles are going to be pervasive. That's going to impact so many industries. So what is transformation? This has been defined based on what our customers have told us through thousands of executives globally through that research with IMD. First and foremost, it's about personalizing customer and employee experiences. Don't just focus on the customer experience, focus on the employee experience as well, making sure we're enabling those team-based huddle spaces to enable them to be productive. Transforming business processes and looking at new business models, leveraging things like platforms to start delivering the ability to share value between consumers and providers. All the classic platform businesses like Uber, Airbnb, they don't own hotels or own taxis or taxi drivers. They're facilitating an exchange of value. That's what digital businesses do. And that's why we've built that 5-pillar strategy to enable businesses to build out their own platforms to do the same for their own customers as well. And finally, it's about empowering workforces. So those are the 3 things that digital business transformation fundamentally means. But what is it all about, right? You think about a business. It's about the customers. It's delivering, well, what value are we bringing to our customers? And there are 3 forms of value today. There's either cost value, I'll deliver a cheaper product to you. I'll deliver a better experience, whether that's through digital, mobile, smartphones, whatever. Or is it platform value? I'm enabling you to have a more frictionless experience because I've built a platform that allows you to do X, Y, Z in a very simple place and one stop to shop. So these are the 3 forms of value. And what we see disruption today, the disruptors are doing something called combinatorial disruption. They're looking at the cheaper products through cost experience. They're looking at the best immersive experience through digital technologies, through mobile, through online. They're also looking at platform value, working as an ecosystem, exchanging that value with other digital companies as well. So look at the 3. It's combinatorial. This is a nice slide. No, this is not disruption. I've been into many businesses with sticky post-it notes because I've worked in government for 10 years and I've seen lots of sticky post-it notes on walls. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're being innovative. It could be a thin veil that's basically saying, hey, we're an innovative company. We play football and have sticky post-it notes. No. Transformation goes deeper than that. It involves all aspects of the business, which you're going to see later on. So be wary of this. These could be just cosmetic things. So what are the qualities of a disruptor versus an incumbent? So the disruptors, they say we've got innovation, we've got agility, we have the ability to experiment. Those are what they class as their key strengths. But the incumbents, the big businesses of today are saying, yes, but we've got capital, we've got brand, and we've got hundreds of thousands of customers. So we're way better than you tiny little startups. You can't disrupt our business. Well, think again. There are 309 unicorns now. Those are businesses over $1 billion. That were startups. Airbnb's got a bigger brand value than Hilton today, and WhatsApp has got 1.5 billion subscribers. So these things grow, and they grow exponentially because they are listening to customers. Customer perceptions and needs change. We need to listen to that and deliver what our customers want. It's making sure you're in tune with customer needs all the time. Otherwise, you will become stagnant, redundant, and get disrupted. This is a really good framework, right? This is what I use with executives. So in order to transform, a business needs something called digital business agility. Now, it does sound very glib, but it is about being agile. And you do that in 3 forms. You need to know your customers, as I just described. You need to know your workforce. You need to know your operating environment, and you need to know your competitors. Those 4 things, you need data. You need IoT. Things like IoT are helping businesses become connected services businesses. They're connecting to sensors and products to enable they can actually understand how customers are using those products and start delivering value through to them because they are now connected to them. They can start delivering more value through software. A bit like a connected car. I can stream videos to the car so the kids can watch Disney videos as I'm driving down the motorway. I can get predictive maintenance that's sent straight through to the manufacturer. I can deliver so many new value-added services by the very fact that I'm now connected to those products and I'm connected to those customers for ongoing value. Once you've connected that data, you need to visualize it. So it's all good and well a business having tons and tons of data in a massive data lake, but if you can't extract it and visualize it and extract value out of it, how are you going to end up making better informed decisions to the business? So it's about knowing what to act on. So that's about analytics and the ability to visualize it and represent that for better informed decision making. The third piece is around fast execution. So once you know what the customers need, you know what you need to act upon, then you need to go off and execute quickly. So for me, that's cloud. That's been happening for 10 years. That's where IT's been too slow, so they've gone off and procured services from cloud providers. But this is beyond cloud, right? It's looking at agile, software-defined infrastructure. That piece I talked about, end-to-end, branch WAN, cloud edge, data center, public cloud, all stitched together, that's that agile infrastructure to start executing quickly. And of course, doing all this securely as well, making sure security wraps around all of this. So that was the Vortex. That was the first book, the research that we did. By the way, the second book does recap some of the main concepts as well. So this is now about the how. And this is, again, the top of mind that every customer is asking me about. So if 5% are being successful, why are the other 95% struggling? First and foremost, it's about customers see this. Not all of them, I'm labeling too many people there, but they see it as a one-time affair, one-time disruption, a bit like weather in a storm. You need to essentially look at reinventing business models, listening and connecting to customer needs. Where is the value? What strategies am I going to take around digital business as well? Do I harvest a business? Do I occupy a new one? Do I do what GE did? Do I close down my financial business arm and focus on manufacturing and IoT? You know, they retreated from several businesses to then try and occupy another one. Those are digital strategies that businesses can take. It's not a technology decision, that's a business model decision. But the problem with businesses is that they're highly entangled because of 3 things. I look at Cisco, right? We are a huge business, 72,000 employees. If you think about it as an analogy, in this room there are multiple objects. There's a phone, chair, table, books, whatever. If you tie everything together with a piece of string and I go and try and move an object from one end of the room to the other, I'm going to struggle with that because it's going to actually end up impacting or pulling or tying or knocking something else over in the room. That's a big challenge. Just in the webinar. Yeah. Sorry. Trying to affect that change across different things in the room, I'm going to cause disruption. And that's what's happening in businesses. They're all connected. Processes, lines of business, people, functions, they're all interdependent on each other. Because of the scale, the fast pace of change, it's very difficult to affect a change. So what we have to do is orchestrate change at scale. So it's no good having a digital initiative as a small scale pilot, because that's just going to deliver value for a small part of the business. It's not going to deliver value at scale. And you do that through orchestrators. From an infrastructure perspective, that's using a central controller that can provision IT assets consistently and delivering that value end to end in an agile way. I can effect changes across the business very quickly in an orchestrated way. That's what helps untangle businesses. Now, if you think about change management, I said digital transformation. Digital is the technology that everyone is responsible for. Transformation is essentially the hard bit. That's the change. But you can't do digital transformation with old methods for change management, as in, I'm manufacturing a green car, I'm now going to manufacture a red car. That's just a simple change in process. You then have the concept of a smart factory. I might want to take robots to manufacturing my cars. That's a functional change across one element or one line of the business. But if you want to affect change at scale that delivers the highest value, but also the highest risk, I need to do what we call orchestration zone. We need to orchestrate those changes at scale. It's like the CIO of MasterCard. They deliver value to 23,000 banks. The CDO does not care about tiny little digital initiatives unless those initiatives are going to add value to all 23,000 banks. He doesn't care because he wants to deliver transformation at scale. That's the problem with businesses. You see lots of little digital experimental projects, which is all good and well, which is fine, but they're not connected. They're not driving the value across the business and scaling them up. They're just experimenting in little pockets and they just fail. And it's just throwing money at wasted opportunities. So orchestration is key. You need to mobilize and enable those digital initiatives. You need to be connected. That's what we mean by orchestrating transformation. So first and foremost, let's take a step back, think about guiding principles of transformation. Think about the cost and the value you bring, the value you're bringing to your customers. Is it cost value? Is it experience value? Is it platform value? And as you can see on to the left, those are the different business models that are enabling those different forms of value. What is the strategy I'm going to take? Am I going to be a Netflix where 51% of our business is still selling DVDs in the US? What they're doing is they're harvesting that business to then prop up the streaming business, which is actually making a loss at the moment. But by feeding the profits from that business they're harvesting to the business they're trying to occupy, then it's essentially enabling them to grow and compete, and they will succeed once they start occupying all those other, occupying the streaming industry. There are different strategies that business can take. Now think about the orchestra. This is that analogy again where we're composing some beautiful music, conducting an orchestra. As a business, as a model, it's in three sections. There's go-to-market, engagement, organization. Go-to-market, your offerings are the services and the value delivered to your customers. The channel is how you deliver that value to your customers. Engagement is how are you connecting to your customers, your partners, your employees. And the organization, the structure is a given. The incentives are, well, if I'm Nespresso and I'm delivering coffee online, but I'm also delivering it on store, how do I incentivize my sellers to make sure that I'm actually going to encourage the people in store to then shop online and the people online to then go into a store? So I'm harmonizing the channel. We're making it agnostic for our customers. It's all about frictionless experiences now. Now, we talk a lot about customer journeys in the digital world. In retail, there's 800 different ways of a customer connecting with a retailer today. That's nuts. That's because of wearable technologies, because of mobile phones, because of the internet. All these different technologies are enabling new ways of engaging with retailers. It's complicated, right? We need to simplify that. So in an orchestra you have instruments, right? All those little blobs and boxes, they are instruments. Now, what is an instrument? An instrument is an organizational resource. It's an element of people, data, and infrastructure, all working together to deliver a new process or a new capability for the business. Now, those instruments work together to form transformation networks. This is what's key, right? What happens is businesses, when they do digital, they've got these little instruments that toot away or play along in isolation. They need to be connected. These transformation networks work together. They start delivering more value. And you can see that each of these elements, they're not just in silo. They are across the entire orchestra. There will be elements of go-to-market, engagement, organization that are all being conducted at the same time to deliver value to the business. This is the change that needs to happen. It changes at scale across the entire business. This is what the research is showing and why customers are failing. So fundamentally, it's about mobilizing and enabling resources. We talked about the customer journey mapping. How are we delivering value to customers? I look at the CDO of KFC. He says, digital, massive scope, right? Where the hell do you start? Well, you start with a customer. Put all your efforts around how we deliver value to a customer initially. That's one place to start. The customer is the anchor point. Look at Adobe. Continually hold up a mirror to yourself. How are we adding value to our customers? And are those customers' needs changed? Make sure you're connected to your customers. You're getting that intelligence. You're acting upon it, and you're executing quickly as and when those needs change as well. Business model design is around the need to recognize that you need to reinvent your business models on a regular basis. We've already said the average today is 1 to 3 years, that business reinvention. So it's a perpetual cycle of disruption. It's not a one-time affair, it's a perpetual disruption. Business architecture, these are skills that you need to have in your business now. These are people that can bridge between technology and the business. They can enable that connectedness to deliver transformation. Capability assessments, well, that's infrastructure, people, data. If I look at an instrument, have I got the right data? Have I got the right access to the data? Do I have the right insights? Do I have the right skills and people to deliver that transformation? And do I have the right technology and infrastructure in place to enable me to transform? So you think about it in that context when you look at capability assessments. Enabling the connections, well, that's communication. That's looking at team-based platforms like WebEx Teams. It's about training. Make sure you have a simple transformation ambition. Cisco's transformation ambition is 40-40-20-20. As simple as that. 40% software, 40% recurring revenue by 2020. That was our transformation strategy 4 years ago, and it's still going strong today. Incubation and scaling platforms. Think about another reason why businesses fail. Businesses are made up of IT, marketing, and the lines of business. Now, each of those areas have got funding, budgets. They all drive business cases to get funding for the next year or the next cycle. And if you've got a CDO that comes along and says, hey, we're going to transform this, we're going to build a new digital platform to start delivering new value to customers, there's this new great online platform. And they then go off to the different areas of the business to actually do something, deliver it. They're going to go, well, one, I haven't got the resources for it, I haven't got the budget, and sorry, I've got my own priorities. Go away. That's why these digital initiatives just don't take off, because they're doing them in isolation and they're not funding them. So this is why we start seeing customers start coming out with new internal venture funding. So there's a pot of money for transformation, and those different lines of business, sales, marketing, whatever, can actually bid for money to then enable them to do these different elements to deliver on the transformation. So there's ways of getting around these challenges, but time after time, you see the issue with business cases holding back innovation. Because it's difficult to value and measure what digital transformation actually means to a business. You need to have people that are skilled to understand, well, if we do things with digital technology, it will deliver savings through operational efficiency, it will drive up the adoption of more customers coming to our services, we'll sell more products. You need those types of people to really understand that value. And that's hard. It's really difficult. Agile ways of working, well, enabling employees to be more productive, using immersive video, using WebEx, using team-based platforms to start enabling customers and employees to engage in new innovative ways as well. This is kind of, I'm used to it working within Cisco, but I've come across many businesses where they focus on customers, they forget that they're actually needing to make sure that their employees are productive and they're having a great experience as well. So we're coming to the end of the presentation now. We've got 10 minutes left. I'm just going to close off with a few final slides. So we've covered a lot. We've gone through the need to change. So this is around the digital vortex. It's around looking at how we actually create the new forms of value, so cost, experience, and platform. It's about how we achieve digital agility. So we need to have hyper-awareness to understand what our customers and employees are saying and what they say about our products. We need to act on data and visualize it as well. We also need to execute quickly too. So those are kind of key constructs and capabilities that the first book research identified. Now the second book was very much around the how, and it's all about how we do that connected approach to change, how we orchestrate resources across the entire business, not individual small silos. So just to finally summarize on this is probably one of the main salient points I would take away. The need to transform is very much understood. Businesses are embracing it. The need to invest in the requisite infrastructure is now starting to be recognized. Every business I speak with and go to visit now, they are reinvesting in the infrastructure. They're building out software-defined agile platforms for that flexibility in the future. They're trying to reduce the complexity. So the operational overhead I mentioned around managing networks, that's now starting to be addressed by looking at the introduction of automation and machine learning. And security, 100 days today is to detect a breach, the industry average. We can bring that down to 3.5 hours with a connected approach to security to deliver a higher effective security posture. So those are the three main areas. Jeff, Richard, shall I hand it back to you? I shall stop sharing now.
Sure, brilliant. Thanks for that, John. I think at this point we'll just open up the floor to any questions. So please feel free to ask any questions that you might have. We've had some questions in the Q&A box, so I'll just read those out. So the first question is, how do you measure successful transformation?
That's a really difficult one. I've already mentioned there that so the latest research has shown that it's about investing in resources that can do that value mapping. So understanding the baseline, right? Understand how you're currently operating as a business today. Then it makes it easy as and when you start embracing new digital technologies or looking at new business models and engaging with customers in new ways, you then have a baseline to then start measuring where you're actually delivering more value to the business. It's a difficult one. It's where many businesses struggle because it is all about metrics, right? If you can't measure something, then you can't manage it. That is absolutely the key mantra.
Brilliant.
Any more, Richard?
Okay. We've got another question. So, what is the role of SD-WAN in transformation?
So we talked a lot at the head end of the presentation around the need for flexible agile infrastructure. Now, wide area networks today, predominantly if they're private networks, they'll be based on MPLS technology. MPLS is fairly rigid with, shall I say, substantial lead times for provisioning. So if your business is adopting and changing where they need to flex bandwidth up, they need to start looking at new applications, maybe like Office 365, which requires you to break out to the cloud at the branch as soon as possible. To do that within a fixed, rigid private network is cumbersome and a challenge. But with software-defined wide area networks, you have the flexibility to connect to cloud environments from your branch. You can connect those software-defined fabrics onto those cloud environments as well, like AWS and Azure. So it gives you that the
the ability to provide that connectivity and security out into those environments as well, is fundamentally about enhancing applications and delivering, a more responsive infrastructure for our customers, and also addressing not so much mainland UK, but international circuits. SD-WAN is very much seen as a cost-saving activity as well. So the ability to become carrier independent and start using internet-based circuits rather than carrier-grade circuits, that achieves significant cost savings for the businesses as well. Any more, Richard?
Thanks, John. And one final question. So what is the next step? How would a business start to establish a digital transformation plan? One for you, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely, Rich. So I guess from our side, today is the start. I think having you here today, the commitment to have stayed with us through the hour has been fantastic. I think recognizing within the organization the key individuals who will have an impact on enabling and being able to help with that orchestration that John has talked about today is a key fact. A key factor, and I'd probably call out as a next step. There is a workshop that Axonex and Cisco run collaboratively with our customers, which is the Vector Workshop. And what this does is it starts to go into more detail around some of the elements that John has touched on today. Starts to reference them against your organization specifically and help you build that transformation plan. So I think the key for me, for the team here, is for us to be able to engage after today. We'll send through information around the Vector Workshop and then start to work with you in terms of our ability to work with you and help that transformation.
And don't forget to order the book.
And a big thanks to John as well. Absolutely. The books are going to be key, so look out for the books.
Okay, thanks for everyone attending.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much to everyone for taking the time to attend. Thanks to Jeff and thanks to John as well. It's great to have these insights around digital transformation, sort of one of the most relevant topics and fascinating topics in IT. So yeah, thank you everybody. Please take a look out for sort of upcoming Supercharged events that we're running. The next one is titled Using Artificial Intelligence to Detect Threats, which is on the 24th of April. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Jeff, Richard, I'll stay on the WebEx.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Just wait for the folks to leave.